Welcome back. In the clip presented on my YouTube channel at Alex Suzio, I will tell you about Helen of Troy, myth and reality. Stay with me in the following minutes of this video clip to find out the details, steps, and examples that I will explain to you in this video clip available on my YouTube channel. Introduction: Helena and Greek mythology. Helen of Troy is one of the most famous figures in Greek mythology, symbolizing absolute beauty and at the same time triggering an epic conflict, the Trojan War. Her story is well known and has been passed down through the centuries through various literary sources, including Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey. Helena was considered the most beautiful woman in the world, and her beauty was the basis of one of the greatest tragedies of Greek mythology, the war between the Greeks and the Trojans. The legends and origin of Helena. According to the myths, Helena was the daughter of King Tyndareus of Sparta and the goddess Leda. However, one variant of the myth claims that her real father was Zeus, who transformed himself into a swan to seduce Leda. Helena was thus born from the egg laid by the goddess Leda, a symbol of divine birth and pure beauty. Throughout mythology, Helena is seen as a being who combines human traits with divine attributes, being a kind of perfect embodiment of the Greek aesthetic ideal. Helena was undoubtedly an extremely beautiful woman, but also a person with a tragic destiny. Her beauty was so unbeatable that many men desired her, and this attraction was a central element of her story. Helena and the Oath of the 100 Braves. To protect his daughter's honor, Tyndareus required all men in Greece who wished to take Helena as his wife to swear to defend her, should conflicts arise over her marriage. This oath, known as the Oath of the 100 Braves, was signed by most of the Greek kings and princes, including the great men of the time, such as Menelaus of Sparta, the king who ended up marrying Helena. However, this oath would become the main reason for a conflict that would last 10 years, the Trojan War. The abduction of Helen and the outbreak of the Trojan War. Helen's story is deeply connected to her abduction by Paris, the Prince of Troy. According to mythology, Paris was chosen by the goddess Aphrodite to decide which of the three great goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, was the most beautiful, and the deity who gave her the greatest reward was Aphrodite. In return for this favor, Paris promised to give him a handsome prize, and Aphrodite offered him Helena, even though she was already married to Menelaus. Paris, attracted by Helen's beauty, went to Sparta, where he was hospitably received by Menelaus. However, when Menelaus was gone for a short time, Paris kidnapped Helena and took her back to Troy. This abduction was considered a great insult to Menelaus and to all of Greece, thus triggering a war of epic proportions. Helen's impact on the Trojan War. The Trojan War was a dramatic and devastating conflict that lasted 10 years. Although the war was initially fought to recover Helena, the real stakes were much higher, involving the political ambitions and desires of several kingdoms and heroes. During the war, Helena was a central figure, but also a victim of her own fate. Despite the fact that the war was largely a consequence of her actions, Helena was often depicted in myth as a woman regretting her decisions. In the Iliad, Homer describes Helena as aware of the suffering she has caused, but also captured by her passions and circumstances. Some versions of the myth suggest that Helena ultimately desired to return to Sparta, but was unable to return due to the political complexities and dangers of war. Helena in Greek art and literature. Helena has inspired countless works of art, literature, and drama throughout history. Beyond Homer's Iliad, Helen's story was turned into tragedies by ancient Greek authors such as Euripides, who gave a different take on her character. In many of these works, Helena is presented as a tragic figure, caught between her personal desires and her tragic destiny. Artists and painters from the Renaissance to the present have represented Helena in various forms, being considered the prototype of ideal beauty, but also the symbol of a love that led to the destruction of tens of thousands of lives. In most depictions, Helena is portrayed as a woman of perfect beauty but with a dark destiny. Conclusion: Helena, symbol of beauty and tragedy. Helen of Troy remains a symbol of absolute beauty, but also of human complexity and the impact that one choice can have on the world. Her story is, at the same time, a lesson about the power of beauty, but also about the tragedy of a life lived under the sign of destiny. Beyond the myth that inspired an entire era of stories and artistic creations, Helena is a figure that reflects the eternal connection between personal desires and their consequences for an entire people.